Everyone, good morning and greetings from California. Today I'm here at Knott's Berry Farm, a park I really enjoy. And in this video I'm going to show you everything there is to do here at Knott's Berry Farm. From the rides to the roller coasters to ghost town chicken dinner and more fun. Let's go have fun at Knott's Berry Farm. And what better place to start the tour of Knott's Berry Farm than here at my favorite roller coaster at Knott's Berry Farm, and that is Ghostrider. It is a big wooden roller coaster. That's something that was built in the mid-90s. And it'll load right in Ghost Town pretty much as soon as you come into the park on the left-hand side. And the ride itself is pretty much mostly outside the berm of Knott's Berry Farm. But this is a top-notch wooden roller coaster. I absolutely love this ride. It is a long ride, it is a smooth ride, it's a fun ride, and I really can't say enough good things about Ghostrider. I would say for me it's probably a top 20 wooden roller coaster. I think the best moment of airtime you're going to see right here is coming up. This drop. Yep, and you can tell by the screens. But yeah, this is definitely a winner of a roller coaster. Now, one thing about this ride, it gets the longest lines at Knott's Berry Farm. So definitely one you want to come in opening and hit right away. Going around here is Silver Bullet, which is the park's big inverted coaster, right in the front of the park. Kind of a unique layout for an inverted roller coaster, although I will say it does have one of the weaker first drops of any inverted roller coaster. One good thing about Silver Bullet, it does put through a lot of people an hour, so if you're at Knott's on a busy day and you want to ride a roller coaster and you don't have like a fast lane pass, and you're up for loops, because there's a bunch of loops on this thing, this would probably be the one I would tell you to go to. I do love how it takes place over this wonderful lake. You can see it coming back over here. Although I rode this morning right as it opened and it was like 50 degrees and I was terrified of that water spout because this ride was pretty chilly that early in the morning. Not my favorite invert roller coaster, but a fun ride. Right now I am looking straight up at people that are looking straight down on Hangtime, which is the newest roller coaster at Knott's Berry Farm. I think it's a really fun ride. It has a lot of loops, so if you're not good with loops, it's probably not the ride for you. But it's a very, very nice ride. Now, I'm at Knott's during the day. This is also a ride with one of the best lighting packages on it on the entire world. These people are coming down one of my favorite part of the ride, this big airtime hill right there. And then they go into a Cobra Roll. Now the Cobra Roll is a kind of a throwback element to the Boomerang, which was much in this place in the park. And the Boomerang had a Cobra Roll, which was pretty much just about right there. Hangtime, good ride. Probably my third favorite roller coaster in the park. I believe the tallest ride at Knott's Berry Farm is this one here, the Supreme Scream, sponsored by Toyota, which is the park's big three-winged drop tower ride. Complete with the product placement right out front. You can see a beautiful day here at Knott's. A little on the colder side, but like the sky is very, very pretty. So you get a great view from the top of this ride. You hang out here waiting for it to blast these guests down the tower. Looks like they're... And there they go. Without a doubt, the shortest roller coaster here at Knott's Berry Farm is this one here, Pony Express. Kind of cool because you ride on what looks like little horses, but the ride itself is about 30 seconds long. So if you have to skip one at Knott's, I would say probably skip this one, located in the back left corner of the park. Located in the back left corner of the park, you'll find the Calico River Rapids. Now this is another ride at Knott's they redid within the past 10 years or so, and when they redid it, they added a whole bunch of animatronics. And I'm a big fan of animatronics, so that gets thumbs up. But water rides get a thumbs down. I have been on this before because of my love of animatronics, and it is pretty neat. Now, one thing, if you just want to see like a whole bunch of fun robots, if you go on the pathway and the queue, you can see most of them without getting on the ride. Although it's not as soaking as other River Rapids rides. Going around and around here, this is the Wipeout. It's in the boardwalk section of the park. It's definitely an older style ride.
Want to go faster?
For the best view of Knott's Berry Farm, you have to go up in the Sky Cabin, which is located in the boardwalk. Really nice. They got a narration in there and you get some really nice views. Wish the glass was a little bit cleaner though. Right now I'm in an offshoot of the boardwalk area of the park called the Boardwalk Pier, which is home to two different flat rides. First you've got the gliders over here. This used to be home to the old Perilous Plunge shoot-to-shoot ride back in the day. They obviously removed that and built some rides in its place, so you got that one, along with the Pacific Scrambler. Not rides I really would go on. I guess I kind of like the Flying Eagles to the Flying Scooter ride, but I do think they look great. And right next to them, you can see going around there, is Ghostrider. That's the park's Wild Mouse style attraction. It has a longer Wild Mouse layout than a lot of them do, and a little bit more unique. But it has some shin restraints, so if you're a taller person, it gets a lot of complaints from adults. But I guess it's probably more designed for the little ones and family members. Another one of the classics here at Knott's Berry Farm, that is the Calico Mine Ride. It is exactly what it sounds like. You board this train here, and then you go on a tour of the mine. But it's really cool. There's tons and tons of animatronics in there, some really big sets. Normally the line for this is not that bad. At least in the times I've come to visit, I've never really seen them have to use this. And like I'm at noon on a Sunday, and I rated probably about 10 to 15 minutes. But yeah, don't miss this one of my favorites. Possibly the most unique ride here at Knott's Berry Farm is the Stagecoach. And I can't tell you another theme park we could do something like this. We could ride on top of the big old Stagecoach, just like you're in the Old West. And this loads right near the train station. Nothing else away from this video. One major tip I have for you at Knott's Berry Farm is come to the Stagecoach right before it opens, as it has horrible capacity. There's one Stagecoach and it takes forever. Like you can see, there's not too many people in line over here, but the wait time is currently posted at 60 minutes and it just crawls. But if you get here when it opens, they will have an hour of its operation. Like today it opened at noon. It's a really fun experience. First, Knott's Berry Farm and Ghost Town would have to have a train. Their train is the Calico Railroad, and it loads right here in Ghost Town. Takes you around the back half of the park. Now you get off and get on at the same location, but it's a big, beautiful train. Also, normally they have a gentleman playing a train robber that will pretend to rob the train and interact with the guests. And there are a lot of bumper cars in here. These are the Wheeler Dealer bumper cars. They're located kind of on the edge of Ghost Town and the boardwalk, right by the big theater and Pony Express and the pizza shop. If you make your way towards the left side of the boardwalk, you'll encounter Knott's Fairy Tales Return to the Fair, which is the park's shooting dark ride. A pretty good sized ride, a very fun, a very colorful ride, and you get to compete against your friends and score points. I really love the character design on this one. Absolutely one of the best roller coasters at Knott's Berry Farm is this one here. It is Xcelerator, a big launch roller coaster, 200 feet tall. It is awesome, but it's only awesome when it is working. And this ride has a long history of problems. I believe right now it has been closed for many months. I come to Knott's Berry Farm about once a year or so, and I think I've seen this ride open as many times as I've seen it closed. A bit of a bummer on my visit today. My absolute favorite ride here at Knott's Berry Farm, well, it is not running. That is the Timber Mountain Log Ride, their big log flume attraction, but it is filled with animatronics and fun on the inside. It's a really, really fun ride, one not to miss here at Knott's Berry Farm. If you enter Knott's Berry Farm and go directly to the right, you'll end up in Camp Snoopy, which is the kids or family area section of the park, which is quite charming indeed. I love the clock, big hoop clock. I think you walk through the kids area right now. You can see Woodstock's Airmail over on the right, a frog hopper style ride. Now on my left, that's going to be Sierra Sidewinder. It's actually a pretty big ride, and that's one thing you'll see about this kids area of the park. There are also very much, I would say, like family attractions. Or like Sierra Sidewinder is a super fun roller coaster. It spins, and you know, it's just a really good ride. On the right, you'll have the Camp Snoopy Theater, which is pretty much exactly what you expect it to be. Now, I will say one thing. If you're trying to ride all the roller coasters at Knott's Berry Farm, Sierra Sidewinder most of the time only runs one train, so it's definitely one you want to hit early, but it is still like 70 feet tall. And while it's in the kids area of the park, it is a spinning coaster and does get a little bit on the intense side. On the right over here, you have Snoopy's Red Baron plane ride, along with a meet and greet headquarters where there'll be, you could meet members of the Peanuts team. Just heading off on the left is the Grand Sierra Railroad, the smaller of the two railroads at Knott's Berry Farm, but another ride where if you're an adult, like, hey, it's a train ride. It goes past some fun scenery, so it might be worth checking out. You go up those stairs, you get to the balloon race, which is those flying balloon rides over there. On the right is the Grizzly Creek Lodge, the main dining area in this section of the park. A very, very pretty quick service food environment. Now, Camp Snoopy is something that you'll find in a lot of Cedar Fair parks, if you're familiar with the chain, but I believe this was the original one. And there's some sections of it that are just wonderful, like look at this. Waterfalls, barrel bridges, big caves. I mean, just a very, very pretty section of the theme park. You do have a little restaurant or a quick service food establishment in the cave called the Cave-In. That's delightful. Yeah, I'll have to say this is probably my favorite part of Camp Snoopy. I mean, look at that, that's great. On my left is going to be a ride called the Linus Launcher, which is a ride in which the kids lay down and fly around. Now, if you're curious what that building is, that is the building for Montezuma, the roller coaster that'll be reopening sometime now in, it'll be reopening sometime in summer 2023. Do love they have a midway game where you can pick out a Woodstock and win a prize. And the child-to-teacher translator is also wonderful. Now, out of all the kids' rides in the Camp Snoopy area, some are newer, some are older. The one that's most noticeable, or like the one that if people grew up in Knott's they would know about, is the Huff and Puff, which are these little cabins there. And those you have to kind of like move the thing back and forth to get the ride to go.
The Huff and Puff, it's been there for a very, very long time. And I just love the feel of this area of the park. You look at the stream going through. This is also where you'll have some of the biggest trees at Knott's Berry Farm. So it does make you feel like you're in a summer camp kind of environment. You do have a roller coaster over there, the Timberline Twister, which is very much a kid's roller coaster, not like the one in the front of the kids area. There's also a camp bus, a nice ride for the little ones. Those are always fun. Moving along, over here on the left, here is a swing ride. It's called, I believe it's called Woodstock's Whirlybirds. But man, that's a cute little ride. You got more food stands, the creek again. There is a rocking tug over there in the corner of Camp Snoopy. And here we go. There's that stream again. And then I love just some of the theming elements. Like, check this out. It's Snoopy and Charlie Brown carved into a fake mountain. That is wonderful. As you make your way towards the end of Camp Snoopy, you do have one of the older rides in this section of the park, the High Sierra Wheel. And it's one of those like, hey, that's not really a little kid's ride. That's a ride anybody can ride. It's a Ferris wheel. It's a good time. Ferris wheels like that, they're always fun, but they're also notoriously low on capacity. So this one could get a very slow line. And then wrapping it up, there's a kid's car ride on the left.
Knott's Berry Farm has always been filled with all sorts of really fun photo ops. Here at Knott's Berry Farm, the soda machines, so I've got the refill cup in my annual pass. They have the Knott's Boysenberry Punch on all the fountain beverages, and it is delicious. I absolutely love this fountain in the boardwalk section of the park. Located right near the bumper cars is the Walter Knott Theater. Now this is the biggest indoor show venue at Knott's Berry Farm. On the day I'm visiting, there's no shows in there, but if there is any shows in there, you'll probably want to see it because that's normally pretty good stuff. This is a very peaceful corner of Knott's Berry Farm with beautiful, beautiful waterfalls. And this used to be where you would load into the Mystery Lodge show. Unfortunately, that did close down a number of years ago without a replacement.
We got fun. There's nothing sure. The rich get rich and the poor get poor.
And now let's take the walk through what's really the heart and soul of Knott's Berry Farm. And that is Ghost Town. The town of Calico, really how the park started after the Boysenberry Farm and the Chicken Dinner Restaurant. As you enter, you're going to have the wagon camp on the right, which for years was home to the stunt show. Now it's home to a musical performance of Crazy Kirk and the Hillbillies. If you are familiar with Disneyland, they used to be Billy Hill and the Hillbillies over at Disneyland. You got a number of food and beverage stands as you enter on the right-hand side. And then there's a lot of interesting shops here. Not a lot of shops you would think would be in a kind of a normal theme park. Like this one here that sells minerals, fossils, and gemstones. Dead ahead there'll be little spurs, which are some more like Old West toys for the kids. Like pop guns and things of that nature. On the right over here is the Gold Trails Hotel and Mercantile. Now this sells a lot of merchandise for kind of more the ladies. So like a lot of female clothing and things like that. Now Ghost Town is full of what they call peek-ins, which are interesting scenes played out by not animatronics, but more mannequins. Like here we are peeking into the barber, and that's what's happening. Of course, you couldn't have an Old West Town without a shooting gallery. Unfortunately, this one costs $3, which is actually quite a bit. Another staple for an Old West Town, the picture gallery, so you want to take some old-timey photos. Now, Ghost Town also has stuff like this, where you can watch a blacksmith do blacksmithing. I am passing by the Ghost Town Grill, which is a full-service restaurant. Somewhere I've never eaten at while coming to Knott's Berry Farm. There is the dress shop, if you want an old-timey dress. A surefire classic here at Knott's is the town jail is over here on the left, where, well, in the town jail is a prisoner by the name of Sad-Eye Joe, and you can talk to him in that booth there. You know, that's all I'm going to say about that one, but definitely go and do it. It is fantastic.
Me too.
On the right is the general store, home to some really cool souvenirs, as well as candy. Ghost Town Grub is a funnel cake stand. Now also, where seasonally you can get the famous Knott's Fun Bun, which is a cinnamon roll, like a Cinnabon cinnamon roll, that is then cooked up like a funnel cake. It is just wonderful. We are moving into the barbecue restaurant area, as I can tell by the smell. You can't, I can. And then some of the most famous residents of Ghost Town are right here on my right. The Catawampus. And you can hear it mooing. The barbecue restaurant I mentioned was over here on the right. On the left is the gun and knife shop. They don't sell guns, but they do sell actually a surprisingly large amount of knives. If that's how you want to commemorate your visit to Knott's Berry Farm, you can buy one in there. One of the older theaters here at Knott's is the Birdcage Theater. Now this is a theater which their shows will change seasonally. Right now I'm here during the Peanuts celebration, and they have an animator's show where you can learn to draw the Peanuts characters, and also trivia about Charlie Brown and the gang. See people enjoying their barbecue over here. Calico Town Hall, the old schoolhouse. The Ghost Town toy store is pretty neat. Also, they do sell some Knott's Scary Farm merchandise in there when it is not Halloween. The glass blowing store might be the coolest store in the entire Ghost Town section. Don't miss out on that. Very talented people working there. If you want a vintage sign for your house, you can buy it over there. Of course, the Old West has to have a cemetery. And then there's stuff like, this would never happen if they built a theme park today. On the right over here, it's just a museum all about stuff in the Old West. Now, without a doubt, the best time to visit Ghost Town is during the summer, when they are running the Ghost Town Alive special event, which is an interactive play that plays out from the morning until around 6 or 7 in the evening. One of my favorite special events I've ever been to. If you get the chance to do Ghost Town Alive, it is an absolute blast. On the left, there is a candy store. The saloon is on the right, ice cream on the left, and the churro factory as well. And yes, they do have boysenberry stuffed churros. And there is a walk through Ghost Town. I recommend you come in here, go check out all the peek-ins, as well as go and see, walk into every shop and see what they're all about. Located in the ghost town area over by Ghostrider, you'll find a couple of interesting things. First of all, bakery. Always love a good theme park bakery. There's going to be guest services and locker rentals. There's also a pizza place right by the exit of the roller coaster. And then the Spurs Shop House restaurant. Right next to the giant line for Ghostrider, something makes a ton of sense in an Old West theme park area. Somewhere where you can pay a couple bucks and pan for gold. Another thing that brings charm here to Knott's Berry Farm is in the area around the lake where Silver Bullet is. They've got a lot of these miniature models of old missions in the Southern California area. On Knott's Berry Farm, there is a small Native American village area, and on this stage, during certain times of year, they will have some Native American dancing on it. The exit area of the Knott's Berry Tales ride, there is a very large arcade, and a very large and very modern arcade, so you see a lot of the latest and greatest arcade games in here, which is always nice. Newer food options in the park is the Prop Shop Pizzeria. They also have a small bar, and what's really interesting, they have their own Prop Shop Italian lager. Filming this video in the end of February 2023, and right now I'm in the Fiesta Village section of Knott's, which, well, it is a lot of construction walls. Now, this is an area of the park that's been here for years and years and years, but for 2023, Knott's has decided to go through and upgrade the whole thing. You know, Fiesta Village has been the area where there's been a lot of flat rides, as you can see from this picture here, as they're not really adding any new rides. You know, all your old favorites will be here, whether it be the Mexican Hat Dance, La Revolucion, my personal favorite, Soul Spin. And they are just going to upgrade the whole area, kind of bring this area up to speed with the rest of Knott's Berry Farm, which is cool. You can see the big Aztec temple there. That is for Jaguar, which is actually still open. I'm going to ride that next. And that is the park's Mine Train style roller coaster. Very gentle. If you have somebody that's afraid of roller coasters, a very gentle, a very long ride. Also over here on the left side, you could have, this part of the park does have two of my favorite flat rides in it. The La Revolucion, that one over there, and one you can't see called Soul Spin, which is going to be on that side of the wall. Now, their big deal for this year at Knott's Berry Farm, they are revitalizing Montezuma's Revenge. This is an old Schwarzkopf shuttle loop roller coaster. You can see the Jaguar going right there. And they are making it the Montezuma, the Forbidden Forest. So this ride, I think it opened in the 80s, and it's just like its time has come and gone, and they're going to build it. And they are going through and upgrading the launch system. The loop has been completely removed. They're going to replace it with a new loop. It's going to be a very similar ride. Kind of a different kind of feeling if you are used to the older one with the weight drop. This is going to be probably a mechanical launch, but I feel like the whole area is going to look really nice. And I thought this area looked nice already, so I can't wait to see what they're going to do coming in summer. Talking about Montezuma's Revenge, or now Montezuma, the Forbidden Forest, and Fiesta Village. When they say summer 2023, I'm guessing that's going to be a very, very hard date because they have not done much. You can see parts of the track are still missing. The whole station is supposed to get a big thematic overlay, and it seems like they made no progress on that. The loop is also still missing from the ride here in late February. Boardwalk Barbecue is one of the park's main eateries. It's located in the Boardwalk section. And I want to bring it up because sometimes they'll have live music out here. I believe there's a couple different trios playing out here later on today on my visit. And there goes Hangtime. Time to head into the Calico Saloon, complete with some big old saloon doors. Now, certain times of year they will do a saloon kind of show in here, but all times of year you can get a drink. And a drink's got to show you what's on tap here. There's a honey roasted peanut amber juice drop hazy IPA. That's good stuff. I'm really tempted to try a Snickerdoodle white stout or a peanut butter and jelly hard seltzer. They got the boysenberry Hefeweizen, along something called a Halo Light. Now, what I got is very unlike me. I got the boysenberry wine, and I am not a wine person at all, but this is like the greatest wine ever. It just tastes like juice. It is amazing. Update, I walked by and they were doing the saloon show. It was not on the app. Surprising, found my way back to the saloon for a little bit of beer 30, looked at my watch, and I got the Snickerdoodle White Stout. It is so good. And also pretty expensive, like a $15 beer. Many of you know I'm a huge dork. Right here's the side of the show building for the Calico mine ride. That is the boardwalk side of the park. This is the ghost town side of the park. So they made up the building to look like different things on different sides. In the back of Ghost Town, they have an area called Penny Press. Now, a lot of theme parks, they'll spread out like the squash penny machines. Here at Knott's, they seem to all have them collected in one corner. And different stuff too, like if you want to press pennies from Scary Farm, they have them over here. Xcelerator, Boomerang, a ride that's not there anymore. Mystery Lodge, a show that's not here anymore. But yeah, that's kind of neat. One of the most famous things about Knott's Berry Farm is, well, not even located in Knott's Berry Farm. It's located outside of Knott's in the Knott's Berry Farm Marketplace, and that is Mrs.Knott's Chicken Dinner Restaurant. And that's where I'm hoping to have a late lunch, early dinner. And here's the menu at Mrs.Knott's Chicken Dinner Restaurant. Now, you guys could look at the menu, but I already know what I'm going for. And of course, Mrs.Knott's fried chicken. Now, all dinner entrees are served with biscuits and jam, a cup of soup, a salad, rhubarb, and a slice of pie. So while it's like $26.50 for lunch, a bit much, you get a lot of stuff. Eater from here at Mrs.Knott's Chicken Dinner might as well get a nice adult beverage, and that is the boysenberry beer, a lager served on draft. The first course of my chicken dinner is served. Happy for the creamy chicken soup. And oh man, I love the biscuits with the boysenberry jam. And the main course has been served. I got the Mrs.Knott's Chicken Dinner, of course. A full half fried chicken, mashed potatoes with gravy, and a side of corn. It's a big meal. And for dessert, included with the Mrs.Knott's Chicken Dinner, slice of boysenberry pie. And with my dinner, I had to try one of the cocktails here at Mrs.Knott's Chicken Dinner, and I opted for the boysenberry lemon drop. Knott's Berry Farm does very well is merchandise. In this next section of the video, I'm going to show you just any piece of merchandise I thought were cool here at Knott's. A little t-shirt here for Ghost Town, along with a Ghost Town Live mug, which is a wonderful event they run during this summertime. This right here, that is a very me shirt. You know, this is probably not sometime in the late 80s or early 90s. But yeah, that's one I'll probably bring home with me. And speaking of me shirts, well, I own that one there. Also, oh man, look at this mug. A whole bunch of posters of like old Knott's rides on it. Not something you see at most theme parks nowadays, but they do have like a collectible plate for Knott's Berry Farm. This is also wonderful. These are plushies from different characters in the Knott's Berry's Tale Return to the Fair ride. Oh, they're just wonderful. A new favorite piece of merchandise. It's a bottle popper with Knott's Berry Farm, the Spirit of the West then and now on it. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. Fan of Pony Express, they've got a couple different types of like purses and handbags for that ride. And then I love this, you can get a plush of Whittles, one of the mascots here at Knott's. Still a great tote bag for the Calico River Rapids. If you really like the train at Knott's Berry Farm, you can grab this wooden replica of it and put it together. They've also got the coaster cutouts and the nano coasters. Really great tote bag here as well. And then a lot of boysenberry merchandise. Really cool. In the Knott's Berry Tales gift shop, they have a lot of stuff for wacky soapbox racers as well, including an old roller coaster car on display and some merchandise. Pretty solid shirt here for the Knott's Berry Tales and the Weird Woods and the Soapbox Derby Racer. Interesting that they have lots of merchandise for the Soapbox Derby Racers and none for its eventual replacement ride, Xcelerator. Obviously, Xcelerator has been closed for a few months now. Flags and we do have that sign is hanging in my house back at home. There is also a line of merchandise for the Sky Jump. I actually went on the Sky Jump all the way back on my first ever visit to Knott's back in the mid-90s. That's one of the few things I remember was the Sky Jump and the Kingdom of the Dinosaurs. Also a really cool canvas art print of the park. Probably back in the early 90s, I would guess. Maybe late 80s. Much like Disneyland, Knott sells a variety of pins. Next to Bigfoot, you do have some merchandise for the Calico River Rapids ride. Sort of like these really small wooden signs for Knott's Berry Farm, Ghost Town, California. I really like these sectioned off plates for the Knott's Berry Farm General Store. Little t-shirt here for the train. In the marketplace area is the berry market, where if you wanted anything with boysenberry on it, from balsamic to barbecue sauce to salad dressing and more, they'll have it over here. These jackets they sell for the hangtime roller coaster are very nice. Look at that.
And there we go. That'll do it for my tour and review of Knott's Berry Farm in Buena Park, California. Overall, I really like Knott's Berry Farm. It's kind of like one of those parks where it's hard to put a finger on why I like it so much. Like in Southern California, I feel like it doesn't do anything the best of its brand. Like, hey, if you want the best roller coasters, you've got to go to Magic Mountain. But Knott's Berry Farm, they've got some terrific roller coasters with Ghostrider and xcelerator when it's running, Silver Bullet. And then if you're looking for like themed rides and dark rides and themed areas, well, you're going to be way better off at Disneyland or Universal Studios. But, you know, Knott's has some really cool stuff. I love Ghost Town, the mine ride, the log ride, tons and tons of fun there. So they're not really the best at anything at Knott's Berry Farm, but what they offer is such a cool place and a wonderful package. It's one of my favorite parks in the Cedar Fair chain, somewhere I hope to hit every time I'm in Southern California. None were going on at the time I was filming this video, but I think Knott's Berry Farm also offers some of the best special events out of any theme park in the country. You've got the Boysenberry Festival in the spring. Ghost Town Alive during the summer is an absolute blast, and they offer one of the best Halloween events in the country with Knott's Scary Farm. And that'll do it for my review of Knott's Berry Farm. If you have any question about Knott's, let me know in the comments section below. And thank you very much for watching this video. If you guys didn't watch videos like this, well then I couldn't fly myself across the country and go get a snickerdoodle beer and then go have a Mrs.Knott's chicken dinner and go for a ride on the Calico mine ride. So I really do appreciate you watching, and thank you very much.